It's Kyle, and today I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about my job, air traffic control. Some of you might be a little curious to what's actually going on during your flight from point A to point B. So today I'm going to give you guys a quick rundown of each aspect of your flight. We'll start in the beginning with your departure, all the way to your final destination. So as you guys board your flight and you stow away your luggage and you find your seats, your journey with air traffic has begun. The first facility you're going to come in contact with is the control tower. The control tower is probably the most known aspect of air traffic control, probably because it's the most visible. The control tower stands high above the airport with a 360-degree view of the airport and surrounding areas. Now, the first controller in the control tower that your pilots want to talk to is the ground controller. The ground controller, as the name says, is responsible for all movement on the ground. So from planes taxiing to and from the runways to any vehicle on the taxiways or runways themselves. Next to the ground controller is the flight data. Flight data position is mainly responsible for making sure the correct weather and airfield conditions are going out on the frequencies for the pilots. Also, they are recording the actual departure and arrival times for all the flights. And they're passing flight progress strips to and from the ground controller and our next position, the local controller. The local controller is the controller who is actually clearing planes for departure and arrivals. They're responsible for the whole runway itself, all movement on the runways. It might sound easy, but if you take consideration the actual traffic load some of the busiest airports have, it's easier said than done. So once your local controller has cleared your flight for takeoff, he will hand you off to the next facility, which is the first radar facility you will go to, which is a TRACON. TRACON is abbreviated for Terminal Radar Approach Control. Your TRACON controller, his responsibility for the departure portion of your flight is to get your flight on its way, climbing as high as he can, as high as his airspace allows him to, safely and expeditiously. We'll talk about the TRACON controller on the arrival portion of your flight. But next, the TRACON controller will hand your flight off to the next facility, which is called the Air Route Traffic Control Center, or short for center. Centers are responsibilities just to continue your flight's climb up to your cruise altitude and guiding you safely from point to point to point. Might sound easy, but the center has the highest congestion of traffic as they're controlling all commercial air traffic well above the ground. So as you're getting close to your destination, the roles reversed. The center will start descending your plane and hand you off back to another TRACON. The TRACON controller then is responsible for sequencing your plane and with all the other arriving aircraft to your same airport. Once they have sequenced you with all the other traffic and set you up for the runway, they'll hand you back off to the local controller, who will then clear you for landing. Once you've landed on the runway, the local controller will put you back over to the ground controller, who will clear you to taxi to your terminal. Hopefully, that was a quick rundown of what actually happens during your flight. Hopefully, some of you found it interesting, and hopefully on your next flight, if the in-flight movie is just a little boring, you'll key up the channel for air traffic and listen on the frequencies.